What's going on, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Commander Rio checking in with the Rambling with Rio YouTube channel. And today I got one of my boys with me. I got my brother Jalen Morgan of the Bleeding B&G podcast coming on. How you doing right now, man?
Big guy, what's up, man? I miss you, man. How you been?
Oh yeah, I'm good, man. I know you on that vacay life right now, man. You got the
Man.
off
Spring
work.
break vibes, man. You know how I go. But I'm here with the Rambling with Rio, the best channel on YouTube. I'm trying to get my subscribers up, man. So I'm glad to tap in with you for sure.
Hell yeah. And if you are not subscribed to my boy's channel, I'm definitely going to pop a graphic up here when I edit this. Subscribe to Jalen Morgan, host of the Bleeding B&G channel. Like myself, he keeps it spicy, he keeps it real. And you know what I'm saying? We don't wear the burgundy coated lenses of the team. We keep it 100 all the time. So I got my guy on here today because we're going to have a little debate. Two cornerbacks that probably have no right being at pick 11 for the Washington Commanders. We're going to debate them for the sake of debate. I think we like the same guy, but for the debate, for the sake of debate purposes, I'm going to be repping Ahmad Sauce Gardner, and Jalen's going to be repping my guy, Derek Stingley, man. What do you feel about the two cornerbacks, just in like a short scope perspective before we get into it?
I mean, you know, for a while, man, Derek Stingley is my guy. While Sauce, I will admit, he seems to be higher in NFL circles amongst, the draft analysts and things like that. I don't let those type of things persuade me in anything like that. But, just me being an advocate for, the real men playing the SEC and for a guy to stand out in the SEC like he's done year in and year out. Yeah, they talk about injuries and things like that. But this guy, Derek Stingley, has some of the best freshman tape that I've ever seen in my life. And I know, period. Like in the history of football, he's had some of the best freshman tape that I've ever seen in my life. And I know people want to harp on injuries and things like that. But just in the case, I'm a big George Pickens fan as well. If those guys were to leave after their freshman year, after their age 18, 19 season, they would have been top 15 picks in the NFL draft. So why do we think that the talent is gone? We think that Jameson Williams can bounce back from an ACL. So why don't we think a guy like George Pickens can, or a guy like Derek Stingley bounced back from a Liz Frank. We saw Deebo Samuel do it. He was coming off Liz Frank in 2020 and came back dominant the next year. So I'm just Derek Stingley all the way. But I'm a Sauce guy. He's fairly indebted in cornerback too. But I'm not as high on him as
cornerback too. Okay. See, most people, like you said, most people in league circles would vehemently disagree with that because I feel like they're taking it from a "what have you done for me lately" type situation. Like this dude, Sauce Gardner, never gave up a touchdown in his college career. He gave up 41 receptions this year, something crazy, the least in college football. And they're looking at the athletic profile, like he's a shade under 6'3". He's just under 200 pounds. He runs weird, but he's like a weird long striding runner. He had like 8 missed false steps when he was about to take his 40-yard dash, but he ran 4.4, which is crazy for his size. 4.41, which is crazy for his size profile. And there's consistency there. He gave you 3 interceptions a season while he was there, gave you 4.5 sacks, a forced fumble. His freshman year, he housed 2 of the 3 picks that he had. It's like people forget that Stingley was so god tier his freshman year, but Sauce has a level of consistency. But the level of competition matters too, because the AAC is not the SEC.
And can I touch on that? Because that's what a lot of people, even like you just said, that was when you're starting. And I know you like Stingley more, but when people want to talk about Sauce and things like that, they automatically want to talk about numbers and things like that. I ain't gonna say it's easy because everybody's on the college level. But when I'm playing Tulsa and Miami of Ohio and Bowling Green every weekend and week out, of course I'm gonna put numbers like that if I'm a first round cornerback. Like I've always thought Sauce was. I just thought that he wasn't cornerback number 1. So let's be real about it. The AAC is nothing like the SEC. And if we really want to talk about level of competition and what have you done for me lately, I've seen a guy like Derek Stingley put a guy like Jerry Jeudy out on the island as a freshman and just have him over on Stingley Island. And like I said, the injuries have played a part in this year. And some of his tape hasn't been consistent. But I haven't seen Sauce Gardner ever play on that level against that level of competition. Yeah, we could talk about what he did against, Toledo. Like no shots to Toledo or anything like that. But this it's levels to this. Like Meek Mill said, it's levels to this. And Derek Stingley has played at a completely different level year in and year out. Yeah, if you're a first round cornerback, I don't expect you to give up too many touchdowns in the AAC, to be honest. So I mean, you
gave up 0 though.
Yeah, I understand it, and that's amazing. I'm not trying to take it away from him, but guess what? Derek Stingley only gave up 1 his freshman year, and I know we're not just going to keep harping about his freshman year and things like that, because I do think that Derek Stingley has flaws and things like that. I honestly think a lot of his struggle after his 2019 season became because he bought into a lot of the hype. I think he picked up a lot of weight. I think he honestly was trying to be Patrick Peterson. Yep. Honestly, I really think that he wanted to be Patrick Peterson. If we can remember, man, if you can remember though, I think Patrick Peterson came to the combine weighing 221 pounds. But what we don't seem to remember is that he was a freak athlete doing that at 4'3". Guys just can't do that. And I think Stingley was trying to follow in that pattern. And, we got to think that was a different time of football, too. Patrick Peterson was going against Julio Joneses and A.J. Greens of the world. You're going against speedy receivers like Devontae Smith, who I will admit torched Derek Stingley in 2020. Well, I do think he was having a lot of mental lapses in that game and things like that. I don't think that Sauce has ever, reached, the 2019 Derek Stingley play. I just haven't seen it yet.
So bigger detriment to the outlook of Stingley's draft stock is the fact that he's only really started 10 games over the last 2 seasons, or the fact that he has 0 interceptions since his freshman year?
I honestly think a lot of it has to do more with the ball skills. I think that, some of his tracking hasn't been the same as it was earlier in the year. And I think a lot of that is because he wasn't in the position that he was in 2019. We can look at some of his 2019 film. He was basically running the routes for the receivers. Like, he was there when the ball was thrown. And not saying he had the most interceptions in the world, but he was having batted passes and things like that. Now, his lack of interceptions, now a lot of it seems to be as if, like, poor technique. Like I said, he bought into a lot of the hype. Poor technique and thinking that he was better than he was, and he got. But when I saw him play to his level, like he did later in the 2021 season, when he was bouncing back before his injury, I think that he's like the best corner in the draft. The ball skills, I think, have taken a hit, but I honestly think that was due to like the lack of technique, which I think he was somebody that showed impeccable technique in 2019. So we get the right coach, the right scheming system, I think that the interceptions will come, especially.
Okay. So Sauce Gardner, this dude he looks like today's age of cornerback, tall, length, long arms. Yeah, sure. He has the speed. He has good hips for the most part. He just runs really weird, but he keeps up. He has good, like, he keeps up with receivers really well. Like with Stingley, like sometimes he can get beat off the ball, but his recovery speed is so damn elite that he always gets back into it. Sauce kind of sticks to the hip of receiver. He's not exactly playing the same caliber of receivers that Stingley's doing, but I see Sauce as the perfect fit if you're running a Seattle style man up your cornerbacks on receivers, press man cover. He might be too aggressive sometimes. He's very handsy at the college level. Some of the hand play and the jamming technique is not going to be allowed at the next level. We run a lot of zone here for some reason. We threw $14 million at William Jackson and said, we're not going to play you to your strength. We're going to make you play loose, lax zone. Which one would be a better fit if they happen to fall to 11?
I'm gonna go with, I'm a big best player available guy, and with me thinking that Stingley is the better player, if they're both there at 11, I'm gonna just have to ride with Stingley. Like I said, I don't think Sauce is a bad pick at all, but in terms of like play styles and things like that, I know after, the Legion of Boom won their initial championship, they were looking for the bigger corners and things like that, the Richard Shermans, the Brandon Browner types. But I thought that the league made kind of a shift to more of like, the slot corners when, guys like Chris Harris were taking over in Denver and things like that. And I haven't necessarily seen the league change back. Now, are we going to use a guy like Sauce Gardner to check like big tight ends? like Travis Kelce and things like that. And I just think that that's not as impactful as a guy that can travel with the best receiver in your division. Like I think that Derek Stingley can do. I see him traveling with the CD Lambs of the world. I see him traveling with the Devontae Smiths of the world, and whoever else you think might be, in that good tier in the NFC. I think that he's a guy that can take on that number one cornerback matchup. A guy like you don't really have a guy like that right now unless you have faith in William Jackson, who I do have faith in, but I don't know if everybody in the Washington Brass does, coming off a rough season. But like you said, they weren't playing him to his strengths. The benefit of having a scheme versatile guy like Derek Stingley is anything his strength. He can play zone. He can play man. He has some of the best feet, the best hips that I've seen. And I'm glad that you brought me on for this episode because I love talking DBs. That's the position I played growing up. And when you talk about DBs and when you analyze DBs film, you gotta get a little sensual. You gotta talk about them feet. You gotta talk about them hips and everything like that. And Derek Stingley is elite. And like you said, Sauce, his hips are okay. His hips are okay for being
stiffish.
They're okay for being 6'3", but you also have to put that disclaimer for being 6'3". The benefit that he has is that he has those long arms. But when you're out of position as much as he is, you need to have those long arms, or you're gonna be beat every single play. He reminds me sort of like Trayvon Diggs with less ball skills because he doesn't really play off the initial move. He sits on the ball skills. He sits on the line of scrimmage off of releases and things like that. He plays in phase. I think a guy like Derek Stingley, he's capable of playing in phase or out of phase, locking up guys like Jalen Ramsey. I'm not comparing him to Jalen Ramsey. If I was giving him a player comp, I would compare, my player comp for Sauce throughout this pre-draft evaluation is like Stingley, is like a souped-up Denzel Ward. He has that flexibility. He has that hip mobility. But I also think he can be a technician like Stephon Gilmore when he's at the best of his abilities. Yep. When he's coached up to being the best of his abilities. A guy like
I see Gilmore. I definitely see Gilmore.
Yeah, especially, when his technique is honed up, Stephon Gilmore doesn't waste a step. He's not a physical freak. He's not he is an amazing athlete, but he's not God tier on NFL level. But the things that had him locking down receivers for as long as he was his technique. And I think that if you coach up Derek Stingley, I think that he has that type of capabilities.
I see Sauce as like a stiffer, but faster, but not as good Richard Sherman type coming out. Like, I don't think he's as technically refined as Sherman. He's definitely faster, but he just doesn't have he doesn't have the fluidity to his game that Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman wasn't a highly touted prospect coming out. I'm comparing him to what Sherman was in the league. I wouldn't exactly put that comp on him, but that's what I see when I see him play. What kind of comp do you have for Sauce Gardner?
Coming up with a Sauce comp is hard because when you see guys that tall at the cornerback position, you don't really see him running 4.41. And like you said, he runs a little weird. So that 4.41 doesn't really seem to pop out on film, or it didn't even pop out to me when he was running that 40 at the combine. But when you have to factor in the speed, because he did put it down on paper and things like that, I could see him being like as far as the cornerback position, I don't see him being as dynamic in a return game, kind of like an Antonio Cromartie. Somebody who doesn't have, or a Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. I think they have similar, similar play styles and things like that. Somebody who doesn't have the most amazing technique, but can get about on sheer length and sheer physical ability. I think both of those Cromartie guys are around 6'2". I think Sauce might be a little taller than them. But like I said, just getting away with, being able to press at the line. Once Sauce gets a hand on you, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Now, I am concerned about him being able to get a hand on you with his hip mobility and things like that. But, I think that one of those Cromarties is a really close play style that I see for Sauce.
Yeah, I believe Daniel Jeremiah and Rich Eisen give a Cromartie comp at the combine when Sauce was running. And I believe Cromartie ran a 4.52 and he was like 15 to 18 pounds heavier than Sauce Gardner. But I just think as far as fit goes for Washington, Stingley definitely is the more like he makes a lot more sense for what we want to do, unless Jack Del Rio for some reason decides this year we're going to put our cornerbacks up and man guys up. We've been sitting in these weak ass zones since he got here. I don't know why, because we have the defensive line that should be able to cut. Like, I don't know, but I think Stingley, we could move him all over. He would easily be the most talented corner on our roster. But don't get it twisted. I like Sauce Gardner too, but I don't see either being there at 11. And what is the realisticness of one of them being on the board?
Can I ask you a quick question before I answer that though?
Yeah.
Because like I said, I don't mind Sauce as a prospect. But say you bring in a guy like Sauce, where does a guy like Benjamin St. Juste play? Or who are you playing in the slot? And like I said in my mention in my last episode, while a lot of people are down on St. Juste, I wasn't necessarily down on his play. Now those concussions, those do scare me. But I think that he can be that long press man corner that you're looking for. And I think that's why Stingley will be a better fit for Washington. But honestly, I don't think Sauce is going to be there. I do think Sauce is going to go before Stingley, just because, like you said, the NFL is a "what have you done for me lately" league, and playing 10 games in 2 years isn't great. It isn't great. But the type of GM I like playing Moneyball. I like taking that best player available. So I don't think that Sauce will be there, but I do think that there's a realistic chance that Stingley will be there, especially if a quarterback is drafted in the top 10.
And if Stingley's on the board, you taking them hands down?
I'm taking him hands down if Garrett Wilson is off. If Garrett Wilson is off the board and Stingley and it's going down to whoa, that's a heck of a scenario. Is Kyle Hamilton still on the board?
While we're there, I want you to power rank these 3 players coming out. Kyle Hamilton, Derek Stingley, Sauce Gardner, rank them 3-1.
Power rank those 3 players coming out. A lot of what goes into my ranking is the impact that I think they're going to have at the NFL, and I just think like a lot of that comes into like position. So I think that elite cornerback, shutdown cornerback, is one of the most necessary skills you need on a game-winning team. So I'm going to put Derek Stingley first. But that money ball position, that money backer position, that chess piece position, the Isaiah Simmons type position is becoming necessary in the NFL as well. And I think that Kyle Hamilton can play that even better than a guy like Isaiah Simmons. So I'll put him 2 and I'll put Sauce 3. But it's very close between all 3. How about you?
I'm putting Kyle number 1, bro, because I don't care what them 40-yard dashes say. I watched the game. I seen it, bro. Yeah. I seen the tape, bro.
I'm how Kyle. I'm how Kyle. And I might actually take him over Derek Stingley at 11 if I had to consider it for
like they keep saying he's going to drop out the top 10, and it's just hard for me to fathom because he just looks like an absolute baller, bro. You don't see no damn 4.7 on tape when you watch him. A 4.6 or none of that, man. He's an absolute baller. But I'm going him, Stingley, then Sauce. But I feel like I would still try to force a receiver, especially if Garrett Wilson was on the board.
Knowing y'all, man, knowing you and Todd, man, y'all gonna get y'all offensive player regardless. I know.
Yeah, but I'm starting to feel like if Kyle Hamilton or Stingley is there at 11, they're probably going to be the pick. We've spent so much on that defense. Who do you think out of the 2 players we're speaking of will have the better immediate impact?
Between Kyle Hamilton and Stingley, or Stingley?
Stingley.
The more immediate impact, I'm gonna give it to Stingley. And like I said, I think a lot of it depends on where he's drafted. But if he's able to travel with some of the top receivers, let's say by the second half of his rookie year, he's going to be talked about. He's going to be put on the map. And if he's able to shut those dudes down, we're looking at Pro Bowl corner for the next decade. I think a lot of Sauce's success is going to have to come based off the scheme that he comes in. I don't think he's as scheme versatile as Stingley. So I think that Stingley's able to succeed with more teams. So I'm gonna go with Stingley.
I imagine that some team like the Jets or whoever takes him, they're just gonna put Sauce on an island and hope that Darrelle Revis with size
reincarnated
and hope that he can get receivers lost in the sauce. I think that's what they're gonna do. They're just gonna put him on an island and say, guard the best receiver and show us you're worth this pick. So ultimately, Stingley, I don't think Stingley is going to be put in a position like that because he has more position flex, like Ron said. Ron and that damn word position flex. But I don't think neither guy is going to be there for us to pick at 11.
Stop, man. Stop putting that bad juju on us, man. Stop. You just want your receiver, man. You just want your receiver, man.
I don't think they're. I think like cornerback is a premium position, man.
But I would completely understand if both of them weren't in the top 10. I was just messing with you, but
Like
I
if
completely
both
understand.
of them and Hamilton went top 10, that sounds crazy. I could believe it, bro, because like Hamilton is just special, and cornerback is such an elite position, and you can say it's a deep. It's not really a deep-ish cornerback class. It's like them two, then the next tier with like a Booth, McDuffie,
and then fall off.
Yeah, and then it's not really you like people when they talk about value of these positions and how deep a class is. Yes, the wide receiver class is deep, but if you wait too long and that run comes and they all start flying off the board, like for example, we take a cornerback in the first round and we get to 47, all of a sudden Pickens off the board, Christian Watson off the board, Drake London, Traylon Burks. It's starting to look like Jahan Dotson's off the board, Sky Moore's off the board. It's starting to look like we taking John Mechie. Like there's a difference between Chris Olave and John Mechie.
There's
like,
levels to this. There's levels to this.
And that's why I love the draft. I'm excited to get to the draft, man. And one more point on Stingley. I love genetics, bro. And he comes from a family of grandfather, an NFL player. Father was an arena football player. He was a multi-sport athlete. He comes from a bloodline of just baller. And when you wear that number 7 at LSU, you're usually
gotta be a dog. You gotta be a dog.
You gotta be a dog. Before you go though, I gotta let the folks know, man, you have a product out here. You know, it's keeping my beard extra moisturized. I got the new scent. I got the lemon flavor. Tell them about your line, man, and your business.
Sir. Yes, sir. My guy, appreciate you. So Rio just showed you guys Stunner's bed sauce. So that's actually our signature oil. We also have a signature wash, and we actually have a signature beard butter that's going to be released later this month. So check in on us. That's actually our newest scent, our lemon scent. We actually have a sandalwood and a peppermint scent for the oils, and a lavender scent for the wash. Everything is 100% natural and organic. Be sure to shop with us. We appreciate everything, all the support. 100% black owned. So yeah, be sure to support us over here, man. It's Stunner's Beard Sauce. You can follow us at StunnerSauce_ on Instagram, or you can visit www.stunnersbeardsauce.com.
Hell yeah, man. Support black owned, support your boys, and it's a quality product. I'm not just because he's my boy, I'm not going to just say, hey, this shit fire, man. Like, nah, that shit good, bro. That joint, that lemon hit different. I've had the sandalwood, that joint's extra. Like, that's the date night joint right there.
That's when you want to feel suave. You got to put on that sandalwood when you want to feel suave.
The peppermint's good as well, you know what I'm saying? But this lemon hits a little different. We got some stuff coming. We got a war room we're about to get to in a couple hours. Absolutely. And me and you, we have a full first round mock, our second annual coming up.
We got to keep it coming too. We actually hit on our Washington Peck last year. So you guys make sure you want to tune in. We might hit on it again.
Hell yeah. And if you haven't already, I'm going to put the graphic up again. Follow my guy, Jalen Morgan, host of the Bleeding B&G podcast. That's my boy, my group chat brethren, but more importantly, my friend. I appreciate you for coming on with me today, big dog.
My God, I appreciate you having me on, man.
Hell yeah. Until next time, hell to the commander. Salute. Take command. We out.